In fact, Huzur, the second question which I had in mind, that is the sayings of Prophet Muhammad regarding Al-Sham. I quoted them before I came here. There were few sayings. We can see that as if there is a connection between the mithaq and the coming of Jesus and the lights that will cover Al-Sham. Al-Hadith يقول أخذ الله مني الميثاق كما أخذ من النبيين ميثاقهم وبشر بي عيسى بن مريم ورأت أمي في منامها أنه خرج من بين رجليها سراج أضاءت له قصور الشام. حديث حسن في الطبراني. وحديث آخر عن ابن عسكر عن يقول إن الأبدال بالشام يكونون وهم 40 رجلا بهم تسقون الغيث وبهم تنصرون على أعدائكم ويصرف عن أهل الأرض البلاء والغرق. Only one tradition, if you allow me. But only the last one. Yeah. أهل الشام صوت الله تعالى في الأرض ينتقم بهم ممن يشاء من عباده. I'm not making an advertisement, but I'm interested to know about.
You see, I'm glad that he brought up this matter. In fact, the traditions of a few hundred years after Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam are not trustworthy, because it is impossible for people of the early 4-5 centuries to mix all together these traditions and never even to briefly mention them in their books. And suddenly these things appearing in Tabrani and other books, which seems to be very unlikely. And again the style changes. See, I have noticed this. दूसरी किताब जो मैं कहा करता हूँ, Bayhaqi. Read the Hadiths of Bayhaqi, there you will find many such things like these.
Yes.
And they speak of the fight in Arabia, and this will happen and that will happen. And people of different Arab countries stick to some of those traditions which they think will fulfill in their case and in their time. While the war between Iraq and rest of the 10 Muslim countries and their supporters were raging, these traditions came out suddenly in Arabia, in Syria, and other places. And they started discussing, look here, now we have reached the victory. And what happened? All the hopes were smashed. So by adhering to such traditions which are not authentic, which are not reliable, which may have been the product of a time when people wanted these things to happen to them, when one Arab country wanted to gain superiority in the eyes of the true Muslims over other countries, over other people, and these things began to be manufactured. Now, I have gone through all these things. During the Gulf War, such traditions were sent to me by Ahmadis from Syria, from Iraq, from other places of the world. And they seemed to be very excited. So once I even spoke in my khutbah, I said, for God's sake, behave normally. Allah has given us principles, basic principles in the Holy Quran. And the traditions supporting and explaining those principles are mentioned in Sahih Sitta. I don't say that beyond them there is no trustworthy hadith. I don't say that. But beyond them, wherever there is hadith, it must be taken with a pinch of salt, with full investigation and care. Otherwise, you will be led away into a dreamland which will have nothing to do with the Quran and the Quranic predictions. Look at the hadiths built around the concept of Mahdi. How many there are and how differently they can be interpreted. There are hundreds of different hadiths which have been fulfilled in case of this man or that man or that man, but none of them was proved to be a Mahdi. So these traditions excite people, I agree, but I would not like to comment on them unless all other similar ahadith from the same books are collectively presented. Only then I can show you the inner contradictions. And when there are contradictions, they can't belong to Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. For the time being, this should be sufficient. Later on, if he passes on some traditions from some books to me, I'll have the whole case investigated. And specifically, inshallah, I'll speak on these things later on. Right? For a few hundred years, these have been related verbatim, generation after generation. And none of the great early scholars even heard of these. It's not possible.
No.
You see?
No.
Yes. He's doing it very, very well indeed, eh? MashaAllah. Excellent.